Oh my God, we're taking the glasses off. The glasses are coming off. That's just not cute at all. Tribe, it is your girl Naja again, and I am back with another story time. And if you are new here, welcome. Join the tribe. We don't do real voodoo rituals over here. No, we don't. Yeah, sorry if I am disturbing you by the lack of makeup. Literally, after I did that boyfriend does my makeup challenge with Daniel, my skin was just like, no, hydrate me. I'm just gonna put on some lipstick, plop on a wig, and make a video. This is going to be a story time about my experience working at a nightclub at a very young age. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the shit, because I hate when bitches ramble at the beginning of the video. This time I was 18. This was 2 jobs after my first job at the frozen yogurt shop, which I talked about up here, where I had a really creepy boss that tried to get me to do like some softcore porn for him, basically. Then after that, I started working at a boutique. I did like the job, but it just was not paying the bills. I was only getting like $100 a week, and I was a full-time student, so I didn't really have a lot of time to go and work a job where I'm working like hella shifts, you know? So I had that job, which only required me to work twice a week, which was Friday and Saturday. I realized the money wasn't there, and I had bills. Sure, I only had 2 bills, my fucking cell phone bill and my car insurance, but at the time that was a lot for me. So I went on handy dandy old Craigslist, and I started looking for some jobs. I was basically applying for like server jobs and stuff like that. Anything where like I can get some tips, you know, extra money, not just the hourly money. And I was going on hella interviews and shit. So I applied for this one job, and the listing said a hookah girl. Now mainly I thought it was going to be like I prepare the hookah and stuff like that, because right when I had turned 18, so that same year, on my 18th birthday, I had gotten my septum pierced, and then I went and I bought a hookah. And girl, when I tell you, I could dismember the hookah, I could put it back together, I could light the coil, I could do the shisha, I had the aluminum foil on deck. Like, I knew what the fuck I was doing. So I applied for the hookah girl position. And when I tell you I got a response like immediately, and that should have been a red flag, but I got a response immediately. I had set up an interview. Mind you, like I said, I was a full-time student, so I had to go to classes twice out the week, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I had 2 classes each of those days. But I went to a like a private type of college or whatever. I went to art school, so my classes were around like 4 to 5 hours long, because basically the point is to stretch out the hours so that you can get your bachelor's early. I had went on like a Wednesday or something, like, or maybe like a Friday or some shit like that. And I went to the interview. I walked into the club and it was completely empty. It was around like 6 p.m. and it was completely empty, and that was my shift. I went in at 6 p.m. and I left at midnight, but I'll get into that. So I go in there, nobody's in there. There's some servers in the back preparing. The bartender is at the bar, you know, cleaning stuff, whatever, cleaning off her glasses. And there's this guy. We're gonna call this guy Zoe. Fucking Zoe. Zoe stood up when he saw me, and he was like, oh yeah, come over here, come over here. And I sat down at the table, and he was just like,
how old are you?
And I said 18.
Oh, okay, your name is pretty abnormal. Like, where are you from?
Well, my mom's Puerto Rican and my dad is Haitian.
I'm Haitian.
Strike 1, bitch.
Yeah, I'm Haitian.
I was like, oh, that's cool as fuck. How long you been living here? He was like,
oh, you know, I've been living here for a while, whatever.
Then he goes down my resume, and he's just like,
oh, you worked at this boutique? I'm very familiar with the woman that owns the boutique.
So by him saying that, it made me feel more comfortable by working there, because I'm like, well, shit, like, if she knows them, then shit, this can't be too bad, you know? That's pretty much it. He didn't ask me if I had any experience with hookah or none of that. Like, And then finally, it just came down to it. He was like,
yeah, you know, you got the job. And
I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, but there's a catch. You see, I just hired a hookah girl, but I still want you to work here. Are you cool with being a server?
Mind you, I have never been a server in my life at this point, okay? So I was just like, yeah, of course, I'm broke. Sure enough, my young, dumb ass agreed to the server position. And he was just like,
okay, well, we're gonna start on Monday because Mondays are gonna be slow, whatever.
So Monday rolls around and he was like, show up at 6. So I was like, okay, I'll show up at 6. So it was me, 2 other girls, and then a guy who rode up on a bike. And we're just sitting in front of the place, it's locked. So we're just sitting there because he said 6. Nobody was coming to the door, nobody was letting us in. So we're all just talking, getting to know each other. One of the girls was like, I don't know how to say this without being like, what the fuck? One of the girls was very, okay, I'm just gonna say it this way. One of the girls was very Caucasian, okay? She was very Caucasian, you know. I could tell that she probably like worked at Hooters or something, or like Dick's Wings or some shit like that before here. Then the other girl, she had these long, pretty dreads, and she looked around my age. She was very petite, but then she had a big ass booty, okay? So she had a big ass booty. And then I noticed the white girl, she was petite as well, but she had big old boobies. So I'm noticing the trend, and I'm just, cause at the time, I didn't have none of this, and I ain't have no booty. So I'm like, why the fuck did this nigga, did he only hire me because I'm Haitian? Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, so obviously this isn't based off of skill sets, but like Naja, really, you should have known that when he hired you as a server with no experience. The guy was supposed to be like the host, okay? And there was another girl there too that had showed up a little bit later, and she looked really cool. Like, she was really nonchalant type. She had some tats, she was heavy set, and you know, she was really cool. And she was just like, oh yeah, I'm the hookah girl. And I was like, damn, you know, like I really wanted that position, but shit, fuck it. I thought about it and I'm like, maybe he put us as servers because we're good to look at and put her as the hookah girl because she's not. But in my opinion, the girl was pretty. But I could just tell, like, he probably hired me for a face, old girl for the boobs, and old girl for the boobies. We get up in there and it's immediately go time. Like, yeah, tonight's gonna be your first night. And I'm just like, bruh, I thought today was just gonna be training. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're working tonight? Okay, all right. I get paired, we each get paired with a experienced server to work with. And I got paired with this girl, I'm gonna call her, I don't know, I'm gonna call her like Dominique. Okay, let's call her Dominique. So Dominique is this really light-skinned girl. She looked about my age at the time, but I later found out that she was in her mid-20s. And just how she was talking to me made me feel like I was about to get up on this pole and strip. Like, she was just like, girl, this real good money, girl. All you gotta do is just keep up with the pace. This real good money. I make over $1,000 a week. This real good money. You just gotta flaunt what you got. Like, I felt like I was in the Players Club, bitch. Like, I felt like I was in the Players Club. She was like, you just need to use what you got to get what you want. And I'm just thinking, like, where the fuck have I heard that before? Like, this bitch was really talking like that. And then I remember he told us to wear black. So I'm just assuming, like, I wore like some black pants and a black shirt. Dominique had on like a black little dress, like, you know, and then the other servers had on other little skimpy little outfits, but they were black. And I'm like, okay. She just basically showed me the ropes. She was like, okay, roll silverware, put ketchups in the packets, like shit like that. Like, it was really weird. Like, I guess not, it's regular server shit. Put ketchup in the packets, put tartar sauce in the packet, like regular prepping shit. I started talking to the girl with the dreads. We're gonna call her Jamaica. So Jamaica, me and her were having small talk, and she was just like, yeah, you know, like, this seems pretty easy. I used to work at Hooters. I'm like, go figure, you used to work at Hooters. the Caucasian girl, white girl, she's just, we're gonna call her Becky. Becky just in her little corner, like looking like, what the fuck am I doing here? And to be honest, Becky, you're right. You shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have been there, and Jamaica shouldn't have been there. Like this is, no, actually Jamaica shot, I'm gonna get to that. We're putting up the packets. People start rolling in at around like 8. Zoe is just like,
you're like, okay, you shadow your person that you're gonna shadow, and you know, help them bring food out and blah, blah, blah.
Now, mind you, they did not have a good like system in regards to putting in orders. Like you wrote it down and then you put it into the computer, but it was just really confusing because we had to use their logins when we helped. It was just it was a very confusing process, and I've worked as a server for other restaurants where I've seen it done properly. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck these niggas is doing, but it was very confusing. Dominic is like showing me like her game or whatever.
Yeah, girl, what you need to do is just need to stick your chest out a little bit like this, poke your booty out a little bit like that. If there's a woman at the table, pay a little bit of attention to her too, so she don't feel like you're going directly for her man pockets. And
just all this shit, and I'm just little innocent old me. I'm just like, okay. By the time it hit like 10 o'clock, that shit was packed, like packed. And I'm like, I thought this was Monday. What's going on? I thought it was Monday. Like, what are we doing? I noticed Zoe was just chilling the whole time. Like, he just chilling. He got fucking, what does he got? He has his wife there. He has his wife would come to the club or whatever. And then I skimmed the crowd of the club, and it's straight grown folk. Like, I'm talking like grown folk. Like, at the time I was 18, so I don't want to say my mom's age back then, but my mom's age now, and then maybe like 8 years older than that, grown folk. I'm talking like 37 to 48, grown folk. Mrs. Zoe and Zoe are in the VIP lounge drinking and kikiing. All Mrs. Zoe would do is just like drink and turn up, whatever. They were just like, all right, well tomorrow you're going to be serving by yourself, and if you need any help, you ask Dominic. I didn't clock out until midnight. Ironically, right as I was leaving to my car, my mom called me. She called me, she was like,
nah, John, I'm sick and tired of this shit. You need to get you a job. I'm tired of you going out partying all the fucking time. Blah.
And I'm like, Mom, I'm just leaving work. I finally got a job.
Oh, really? Where'd you get a job at? Girl, I didn't know.
And I told her the name of the club, and she got quiet. And she was like,
are you talking about the one off of Atlantic?
yeah.
You know how many names that club has went through? Like, that club goes through new owners like nobody's business. Like, why would you work there? Why would you work in a club setting? It's not safe. Like, have you had anybody walking you to your car? Blah, blah, blah.
And at the time, I didn't think it was that serious. I was just like, Mom, like, I go to the club all the time, like thinking I'm grown or whatever. I go to the club all the time, and I just work at one, like, it's okay. She's like,
well, what do you do?
and I told her that I was a server, and she was just like,
all right, well, you just need to be safe and don't drink anything.
and I was like, yeah, I ain't trying to drink with these people, like, the fuck. Next day comes by. Mind y'all, I did not even work at this bitch for more than a week, okay? More than a week. I started getting PTSD. I don't even want to belittle people that have PTSD by saying I had it, but I was actually like going through shit from when I worked at that job. Like, so my first day being by myself was hell, okay? So I tried to make it better for myself. I tried to dress cute with all the black or whatever. I got like a little black dress from Express with the back out a little bit, and it was like long sleeve. And yeah, you know, I put my hair up and I thought I was cute. Dominic was like,
yeah, bitch, you looking this fine, bitch. You looking this fine, bitch. You gonna get all them tips tonight, bitch.
I thought I was looking bomb as fuck. I thought everything was straight. I seen Jamaica. Jamaica got a deep ass V-neck, you know, her little baby itty bitty titties. And then she got some shorts on with them cheeks hanging out, baby. You know, Becky still had on her pants, because Becky was very professional. Like, you could just tell that Becky was a server at some high, Becky used to serve at the Olive Garden or some shit. She just wore the regular pants, but then a deep ass V-neck, right? And I just remember Becky hanging back a lot. Like, she was very nervous, but like, she put on a good game face, but I could tell she was nervous. She was constantly like clicking a pen and shit. Jamaica was ready to go, bitch. Jamaica was ready to make that fucking money, okay? And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. Like, what the fuck is going on? We do the regular things. We get the ketchup, the tartar sauce, everything, get it together, whatever. And then 10 o'clock hits with all the people. I had put in some orders. I thought everything was fine. Mind you, I don't know if this is clubs and bars everywhere or maybe it's just in Jacksonville, because I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but literally clubs and bars here, all they serve are French fries, wings, and oysters. That's it. That's all you're getting, fam. That's all you're fucking getting. So literally the menu is just drinks, fries, wings, oysters. So, mind you, I've never even held a fucking tray at this point. So I get in an order that, my first order that isn't a drink. And mind you, I was only 18 and this man, Zoe, was having me serve alcohol, which is against the law. Like, so I got my first order that wasn't a drink and it was some oysters. I don't like oysters. They smell disgusting. They're slimy. I've never liked them. I'm not a true Floridian. I'm from New York. Like, I like seafood, but that's just that one step I ain't willing to take. So, yeah, I was like, man, I don't, so I'm carrying it and it's hot, right? I dropped the oysters on the floor. Luckily for me, it was not by the table that I was giving it to. It was on the floor by the kitchen. But because I didn't have serving etiquette at that point, because like me today, I would have went over to the table and been like, hey, they just dropped your food. We're gonna give you a discount on it. Like if they're upset, we're gonna make you a new batch, whatever. Instead, my ass is running around to the next table because literally they kind of put me in over my head starting out. Like, I just had too much responsibility just to start out with, so I forgot about the table. Like, they were mad at me. And mind you, like, these people had attitudes, dude. Like, I remember I had this one lady came in the club, sweet as all hell, super sweet. The second I gave her her third drink, and she ordered some fucking wings, and they gave her the wrong type of seasoning of wings, she was being a bitch to me for the whole fucking night. Like, it was just too much. I was running everywhere. I was stressed out. I kept putting in the tickets wrong. The music was super fucking loud. And I just remember getting off that day and I probably had made like 40 bucks in tips. And I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna put some gas in my car. I'm gonna buy some weed. I don't smoke now, but I was like, look, I need to buy some weed and I need to take my ass to bed. And I just remember after I took a shower that night and I laid in bed, I could still hear the music from the club in my ears. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm just sitting in bed like, mind you, this is a grown folk club, okay? So they're not playing the shit that we like to hear. They playing that old ass shit, man. Starting to see spaceship. No, no, no. And the club was closed on Wednesdays, right? So I had class on Thursday and I told him when I applied for the job that I had class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I didn't show up on Thursday. I showed up on Friday, scared, because I didn't want to be back in there again. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like the attitudes and all that shit. And yeah, it just didn't work out. So I get in there Thursday and everybody's looking at me, giving me the side eye and stuff. I'm like, why is everybody, Friday, why is everybody giving me the side eye? Like, what did I do to anybody? If anything, I'd be staying out of everybody's way, because I know, like, Dominic comes up to me and she was like,
oh, nice to see you here today.
And I'm like, what?
I thought you was about that money, but I guess not.
What? Bitch, I'm about these books. Bitch, I'm about these books, okay? I start to work that night. Y'all, I was so stressed out. Like, that night was really bad too. I was fucking up some more. It was super stressful. It was really, really, really packed because it was Friday. What else happened? Me and the hookah girl started getting cool because, you know, I was talking to her. She gave me her phone number and, you know, we were talking and shit. So I would go over to her I would go over to her hookah station and we would like smoke hookah and stuff. Jamaica would come over, smoke hookah, you know, like, and Jamaica was just getting more raunchier and raunchier by the second. I'm talking about tied up shirts with high waist black pants. Like she was making a lot of tips, bitch. And I noticed that Jamaica and Dominic were hanging out more than like how Dominic used to fuck with me. Like she was fucking with Jamaica way more when I came in on Friday. So me and Hookah Girl are smoking the hookah. Dominic decides, I guess Dominic had gotten some drinks in her, because I could tell when people are lit, okay? Dominic most likely has some drinks in her, and I feel like Jamaica may have had some drinks in her too, because they were dancing and shit with the people in the club, very professional. And you know, she had came over to the hookah station with me and Hookah Girl, and we were all smoking the hookah, you know. And for once, I was like, you know what? Maybe this won't be so bad. So I'm starting, you know, like vibe with them and shit to this grown folk music. I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna be so bad, fuck it. So then Zoe comes over and he looks pissed off, but he's trying to be discreet about it. He's like,
yeah, so y'all need to stop smoking that hookah because there's people in here that can see y'all doing that, and it's against health code for servers to be smoking while on the job.
I'm just looking at Zoe like, oh, but it's very legal for my 18-year-old ass to be serving people fucking vodka tonics and shit. Okay. He had to stop smoking or whatever. And then I had remembered that I was starting to see some of my mother's friends in the club, and that shit was embarrassing. Like I literally felt like I was diming off a Players Club. Like I really did. Like once I saw people that my mom knew, I wanted to just hide in the fucking closet as if I was naked up on that stage. Like only because I knew they grown ass was gonna go back to my mom and snitch and be like, girl, did you know that your daughter work at oh. So then towards the end of my shift, I'm collecting my tips and stuff, whatever. And Zoe pulls me aside and Zoe was like, look,
where were you yesterday?
I was in class. I told you I go to class every Tuesday and Thursday.
Every Tuesday and Thursday?
Yes, every Tuesday and Thursday, every week, yes.
Oh, well I didn't know that. I kind of need somebody with more availability actually.
Okay, well what are you saying?
I'm gonna have to let you go.
To be honest, y'all, I was not even upset. I really wasn't. At first, I was about to be mad because I'm like, damn, bro, why couldn't you tell me that I was fired before I started working? But whatever, because I think I had made like $50 to $60 worth of tips. Fucking Jamaican ass probably made like $120 worth of tips.
Yeah, just come back on Sunday when it's less busy to pick up your check.
Because I hadn't gotten paid anything other than tips at this point. And mind you, I really felt like I was a stripper, bruh. Like Mrs. Zoe would go through our little buckets and count our tips, bruh. Like she would count our tips. Like, why are you touching my money? What are you doing? Like, I'm like, bitch, are you about to take a cut? And I remember I even asked Dominic that. I'm like, do they take a cut of our tips? Like, why is her hand in my money? Like, why is she touching my money? She's like, oh
no, they just want to know like what's going on and blah 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 blah.
why? It's not your business. It's not your business. In those 2 days, I went back on Craigslist looking for another server job because I was like, okay, maybe if I find something less chaotic and more constructed, I could actually be good at this because I am a good conversationalist, you know, like I'm good at customer service and I like the tip money. The tip money was bomb as fuck. So I got on Craigslist and another situation happened where I got hired in like no time. And then I got a serving position at an Indian restaurant. That shit, I got hella story times about that shit, okay? I worked at that Indian restaurant. The girl who was supposed to be training me helped, like, she had me stealing. I've seen fights. My manager used to fuck my coworker. Like, if y'all wanna hear stuff about the Indian server stories, I got shit, boo. I got shit. So yeah, on that following day where Zoe told me to show up, I showed up, and then just to be petty, I showed up in my Indian restaurant uniform to just be like, yeah, bitch, I got a job. I don't need y'all, and I don't need y'all ugly, crusty ass old men's dollar bills. Fuck all of you. I will gladly take my Caucasian men's, older Caucasian men's bills on my table. Not stuck in the fucking waist of my server. Yeah, no, that was that, and I never saw them again. That club actually still is up and it still has the same name, so haha, joke's on you, mom. But mom, you was still right because I was not cut from that type of cloth. I was not no, that just wasn't me, and I'm glad that I got fired. Alright guys, well that's the story. If you guys have any crazy job experiences where you kind of bit off a little bit more than you could chew, go ahead and put your experiences down below. Like this video if you haven't already, and yeah, have a nice day.